Good evening. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll, please.
Judas?
Here.
Fluharty?
Here.
Saunders?
Here.
Rhodes? Here. Spinks? Here. Cochee?
Here.
Mizek? Here.
Council, you have the minutes of the work session of April 15th, 2019. Any corrections? Seeing none, can I have a motion for acceptance? By Mezak, second by Saunders. Call the roll.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks? Same. Cochee?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
And you have the minutes of the regular meeting of April 15th, 2019. Any corrections to that? Seeing none, can I have a motion for acceptance by Fluharty, second by Janutus? Call the roll, please.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks? Same. Cochee?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
And you have the minutes of the wards 2 and 6 meeting of April 22nd, 2019. Any changes to that? Seeing none, motion for acceptance by Rhodes, second by Mezak. Call the roll, please.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Abstain.
Spinks? Same. Cochee?
Yes.
Mizek?
Abstain.
Presentations tonight. Under old business, we have 3 ordinances pertaining to the rezoning of property at Northfield and Rockside from a B3 to a mixed use. We need to table those tonight until we have our public hearing about those, which will happen on May 21st. So those will be tabled till that time.
We could do a motion to table, I don't know, I guess we do all 3 at one time, so I need a motion to table ordinance number 9683-19, 9684-19, and 9685-19 until the planning commission's made their recommendations to the council.
Motion for such by Rhodes, second by Mezak. Call the roll, please.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
And we have ordinance number 9686-19.
Yes, an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to enter into a contract with RKS Management Company to clean the police department and declaring an emergency.
I have a motion for suspension by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
And a motion for third and final by Saunders, second by Rhodes. Mike?
Thanks, Mayor. We looked at outsourcing this service. We had 2 part-time employees that have done it for some time. There are a handful of departments throughout the area that work with a private company. After doing some of the math and some of the calculations, it proved to be definitely a cost-saving measure, and we think the quality of work would improve as well. Just based on the monthly payment of $1,500 a month for this service, we would be saving somewhere between $200 and $300 a month in comparison to paying our employees. And on top of that, we'll no longer need to provide any of the supplies, including materials, as this company supplies all of that. So those savings probably will be somewhere around $500 plus a month.
Good. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Mizek?
Yes.
Reports, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Few items I'd like to touch base on. First, just a quick reminder, May 18th It's our first shred day, which will be out here in our municipal parking lot. This will be the first of two. Next one is in October. So bring all your materials. I believe we'll be here starting at 9 o'clock. You can get here a little earlier if you want. We'll be here. And that'll run till about noon. So bring any of those materials, get that taken care of. And kudos to the staff. This is fully funded through a grant that they apply for each year to offer this service twice a year. I'd like to mention that up at the Meadowbrook area, and we talked a little bit about it, the rezoning, we do have the county title bureau, which is very close to relocating into that space next to the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Seems like a small, operation. You'd think, oh, the title bureau, but when you add those up, you have the Ohio BMV, that's 49 employees. You have the title bureau, which is probably another 20 to 25 employees. That's going to generate somewhere between $70,000 to $75,000 a year in income tax, new dollars to the city. So that's a plus. Plus, obviously, they wanted to be here, and as we continue to go down this rezoning process, it'll prove beneficial. So those operations will be up, or the title bureau, very, very soon. We are, for those of you that seen the sign go up today, St. Eugene's has a for sale sign on the property. It is a very large parcel. We actually reached out to one of their financial accountants who helps oversee some of their properties about 2 weeks ago, and have had discussions with them regarding the city's position and potential redevelopment for that site. We've shared some ideas with them on how it could be utilized. We've used examples on some other communities on how they utilize large tracts of land where a church may have sat on. Obviously, on a grander scale, and I'm not saying this is what we're doing here, but you look at creative ways to develop that, such as Cleveland Heights. They had a large tract that was formerly a church, actually, and it was developed, and they kept the facade, and the way it was built into the rear of the property, it's all high-end condominiums. It's a beautiful facility. Not saying that's what's gonna happen here, but we'd like to engage with the owners of that property and at least convey what our wishes are for that as they look for a owner. We did get some news, and I know on a day like today, it's crazy to think about, but salt prices. For those of you that are familiar with, we go out and it's a collective bid process. Last year's number was about $64 a ton is what we paid. Next year's numbers came in and it's $73 a ton. No real explanation, I'll be honest with you. And that's something I agree with. Putting it into perspective, about 3-4 years ago, we spent $29 a ton. So obviously those costs are going up. It's gonna cost us a little bit more money. Hopefully we have a winter like we did this year, and we don't have to utilize as much. I do want to real quickly give a kudos, and that's not enough, but very well done to our fire department. We went through what they call an ISO rating, and the mayor may have a little bit more knowledge or be able to explain it a little more. But an ISO rating is basically an insurance analysis, and they do that. We have it done I think the last year we did it was 2013. It's not every year. In 2013, our rating came back as a 3, which is very good. It will never be a 1, but a 3 is very, very good. It's important because it establishes and helps establish and plays a key role in commercial property insurance rates, residential insurance rates. We started the process of our annual, or having that rating done again this year. And a lot of things, there's many factors as far as the operations, our staffing, the training, our equipment, all of those things come into play. But we got the notification about 2 weeks ago, and that number actually went to a 2, which is outstanding to have that. Put it into perspective, there's about 41,000 plus fire departments that get this evaluation done. And our fire department achieved a rating that only 4.8% of the departments were able to accomplish. That says a lot for, like I told you, a lot of those different things that come into play, our equipment, our staffing, the training, water system, a lot of those items. Kudos to them, kudos to the chief, that's great. And you know, it saves us some money, it saves everybody in this room some money. So, if you see them, you know, definitely pass that on, that's a well done. Moving on, we were contacted by Cleveland Commercial Rail. They want to do a upgrade to the crossing at West Grace. That crossing is going to require that roadway or that crossing area to be closed for 5 days. We told them we're not going to allow that right now. We want to make sure the Rockside Road project gets fully opened, fully 4 lanes, before we allow them to shut that down. Obviously, it would get done in a short period of time, but you know, we're trying to alleviate as much congestion as possible. So we'll try to get something out, you know, when we'll give the approval and allow that permit to go through for those upgrades. It'll be a good thing. The tracks in that area need to get replaced, but it's just not a time that's conducive with everything else going on in the city. The Dominion project on Graham started today. Again, hopefully they'll be in and out of there as soon as possible. It's gonna be a little bit of a mess, I know. I see some people on Graham that are residents. But you know, overall, outside of that first year when they did that first project and they had multiple projects, their contractors in Dominion has been very receptive to, you know, our requests. And even if there's been an issue where we needed them to come out or come back after to address some of the soft restoration, they've done so. So when it's complete and when they're gone, if you have issues, let us know. Don't just say, I guess I'm gonna have to get some dirt and fill this, or let us know and we'll get them to come back out. All right, that's what we're here for, and we'll make sure that we stay on them for that. The other, just lastly, well, 2 things. If you haven't seen our Constant Contact or social media or even our website, you know, Recreation Department rolled out a lot of their summer programs that's going on. We had a piece for seniors in Plain Dealer. It was in there yesterday, the Our Town section about financial wellness. Look for some more of those types of programs to be coming out. That information is on our website, so take a look at that. And speaking of our website, and we had a good conversation internally with our water department. And one of the things it's centered on is, you know, boil advisories. When there's a boil advisory, we do the door hangers, we let you know when that's been lifted. We're gonna continue to do that, but we also wanna look at other ways to inform the public, okay? One of the things that we're most likely gonna do, and it hasn't been decided yet, is we will most likely establish a button or something on our homepage with an alert that there is a boil advisory in effect for this area, or the boil advisory for this area has been lifted. It's just gonna be another way of communicating with the public. This way, if you come home and, I don't know, I don't see a door hanger, or I don't, you know, was it there, was it not? You can always go on our website and it'll be on there. It's one of the things we're looking to implement. We just wanna make sure that if we take that route, it's gonna be consistent. Who's gonna be in charge of maintaining that if it happens to be over the weekend? So once it's official, we'll let everyone know. Just a little thing that we're trying to improve on that type of communication in that unfortunate circumstance. I think that's it. End of report.
Yeah, and I just want to add to the ISO rating that the fire department accomplished. That is one amazing feat that these guys over there pulled off to get to that. Unheard of for a small department like ours to get that number. We can't thank them enough. Chief Nagy, Assistant Chief Solar, and all the firefighters over there that contributed to getting this thing down to that level. And with the help of our water department, our dispatch center, all that stuff added in, achieving a 2 was just unheard of. And I think in June, we're gonna have the guys come in and we can thank them publicly for what they did. I mean, it is huge. You have no idea what that means to get a 2 rating on an ISO. The time I spent on there, we didn't do that, but things are different now. That they got so much better services, better equipment, and they fully deserve all the accolades for getting that. So when you see our fire guys, just thank them, because you'll see a small tick maybe in your church, you might not notice it, but the businesses will notice. And it's just a phenomenal thing that they did. It was not easy to do. Kudos to all of them over there. Mr. Law Director.
Just briefly, we had the pleasure of meeting the deputy register for the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, David Lasky, who happens to be a Bedford graduate, actually, 1986. But he did indicate that over 250,000 people will be, coming from in and out of that facility. So that would be good for the surrounding businesses. Also, I'd like to congratulate the Rotary for their pancake breakfast. To wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. And I saw Bill from Lions on TV. You look good on TV there, Bill. They donated a wheelchair to someone whose was stolen. And good job. And a report.
Mr. Finance Director.
Yes, the Civil Service is currently working on a police sergeant promotional exam. So we're in the middle of that right now. We've had the written part done. The oral assessment will be determined later after the protest period. We're also looking at coordinating fire lieutenant exams in the fall. So we're setting those up and getting those set down on the calendar. Just a reminder, the Rib Fest coming up, summer's coming, May 31st, June 1st and 2nd. It's right around the corner. We'll be having that starting up at the Rotary. We did finish up the pancake breakfast. And again, a happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Thank you. And John took some of my thunder there, but Bill, if you could stand up, please. Bill's with the Lions Club, and Lois Lowe. Any other Lions in here? They heard a story about a guy that his wheelchair was stolen, correct? What?
Right.
You can give the details, but the thing is, the Lions Club here in Bedford stepped up and got the guy a new wheelchair. It's totally amazing, but if you could give the details, then that would be great.
Yeah, I saw the news in the morning, and a young man had his wheelchair stolen. It was a special made. It cost about $27,000. And we had a wheelchair donated by a Bedford resident to us 4 years ago. And we had 4 years trying to find somebody to give it to. And I saw this on the news, and it was almost identical to the wheelchair this young man had. And we donated the chair to him. He's thrilled. The representative, service rep came out and programmed the chair for his needs and to, what he needs it for and everything. And the battery shop in Twinsburg, High Tech Battery, gave us a real good deal on new batteries for it. It was a great thing. I saw. I suggested to the club that we just scratch the chair for 4 years. You're doing it with it. I think God, had a hand in it.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome that you guys did that. Congratulations. All right. Mr. Janutis.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the fire department, I had an opportunity early on to tour our fire department, and it's really impressive what they do there and how they take care of the equipment. It's really an amazing thing. Let's see, the Rotary pancake breakfast was great. In the art fair especially, it's really wonderful to see the artwork from the little kids, see them do their little self-portraits and whatnot in third grade. It's really touching. So that was really nice to see. And it just brings to mind all the people who do volunteer work. I know a lot of the people here in the audience that spend a lot of volunteer hours, and it really makes the city what it is. I mean, as far as all the events and everything. Last week, I was able to attend the annual Meals on Wheels potluck dinner, And I'd like to give a little tip of the hat to Bill and Diane Asselins once again, because they received a special commendation from Meals on Wheels for their participation. I think you're aware that meals are delivered, but there's also a new program whereby a whole box of food is distributed on a monthly basis. And I'm here to tell you the boxes are pretty heavy. There's a lot of food in there. It's kind of a new thing. There's a income limit involved there, and I should say our own Bill and Diane asked us, because they're always here at our council meetings, so I don't know if they've ever missed one, I know. So hats off to you again. And I'd like to add that at that meeting, our Mayor Kochi, he probably wouldn't say so, but was able to secure a very large donation to Meals on Wheels, as he claims his favorite charity. So that was really good, and really appreciated, a large sum of money. So hats off also to our mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fluharty?
Thank you. I also was at the potluck dinner at Meals on Wheels, and they recruited me to drive a couple times, and I actually brought something. I am going to be able to bring another person too. So a guy that I walk with every morning, I says, "You're not doing nothing. Why don't you come help me out?" So I got another recruit. So the more guys we go around and get you, the more help for all the work you guys do on top of it. So just so you know, we're trying to help you out as much as possible. Just want to remind everybody too that I know it's this time of year where grass cutting and everything else, we need to get our yard straightened up. I wrote up a few people today, and it's that time of year again, and I know the weather's been bad, but when you get a good day like today, you gotta catch up. Hopefully we can get some of these yards straightened up, as we had spring so far. And I also want to shout out to the new cameras over there. I feel like I'm on TV now, big time. I want to wave to everybody and family and all, but this nice new video that we have here, cable connection, whatever it is, it's going to be great. So, end of report.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I don't know if you know it yet, Mike, but the railroad delivered all the material the other day out there, and it's all stacked up, ready to go. So hopefully they don't just start construction without our approvals. But they did put everything down over there. Quick question. Northfield and Columbus. I know I've been stating that a lot of people run that light a lot. Speeding on Northfield Road is excessive. We had another pole clipped right on the corner of Columbus and Northfield. I think we need to start enforcing some of the speed limits on some of these roads. You know, you drive through Northfield Village and you don't dare do over 28 and that 25 because they'll nail it. You know, it would be nice if we could get some of our streets with that same reputation, like Northfield or even downtown Bedford for that matter. Maybe even Rockside Road in some of those areas. But I think we've had far too many accidents here. Now, not all of them were speed. Some of them were drunks and whatnot. But let's face it, we've had too many accidents. We have too many people running red lights. I don't want to suggest red light cameras in some of these locations, but sometimes you got to look at it and say it might not be a bad idea. But Northfield and Columbus especially is getting to be really bad. So I brought this up before, and hopefully we can get some special attention over there. St. Eugene's. Several people that bought that property on Talbot are really worried that they're going to have a major flooding issue if they develop that to any degree. Now the backyards of those homes used to be an open creek, and over the last 30, 40 years, a lot of that ditch was filled in. It was put in with pipes, hollowed out barrels, all kinds of stuff. A lot of that stuff has collapsed And they still have a flooding problem back there because of that. And a lot of these people didn't own the houses when they were put in like that. So if they ever do a development in that St. Eugene area, it would be nice that we make sure that the contractor, I know it's preliminary and it's very early in anything of that nature, but that creek should be piped in properly. And so until at least it opens up into St. Eugene's property near the church itself, just help alleviate some of those backyard floodings that they do have there currently. So, as was brought out about the Rib Fest, the following week is the Strawberry Festival. So if you like crafts, that's the festival to be at, because there's gonna be a lot of those. So, not to mention other activities there too. So, those 2 weeks in a row will be festival time in Bedford. And as far as the ISO, make sure when you renew your homeowner's policy that your insurance company does pick it up, that it was changed, because it will reduce your rate. Not significantly, but every little dollar helps. And onto the agenda items, I will be voting no on the trash again. It's not because the city doesn't need the money, but I do not believe in the way we build for the trash, because we have senior citizens that have one bag in that can, and we've got other people that not only put out the Kimball can, but put out 2, 3, 4 other cans at the same time. And it's almost weekly in some of this. I think we ought to either limit the trash that goes out to that can or specific cans, or we start charging the ones who are abusing it a lot more. Our seniors are subsidizing these people who are doing the excessive, what I would call excessive trash. And because of that, that's why I'm voting no. I do that every year, and I bring up the same comment. It's not that the city doesn't need the money, we do. But it's just on the principle of the thing there. And at the same time, when we get the letter L on the agenda, I will be abstaining from the vote on WOW, because I've been dealing with them in another community for work for quite a while, so I don't want to show any signs of impropriety, because I know the company and I've been dealing with them for some time now. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Rhodes?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. First of all, I'd like to let everyone know that the Garden Club did their annual cleanup of the museum garden behind the Historical Society this past weekend. I'd like to thank everyone who came out for that. If you haven't had a chance to visit this garden, I would encourage you to do that. Last year we put in an art fence, and it's quite beautiful. The garden itself is quite stunning this time of year with the flowers, and it's just a nice place to go and visit and enjoy. Also, if you know anybody who's getting wedding pictures done out in the Commons, they're more than welcome to go back in that garden and take pictures back there as well. On the same note as the Garden Club, we have our annual plant sale coming up this weekend, also Mother's Day. So come to the plant sale. We have lots and lots of hanging baskets that you can buy for your mom, or you can get plants for your garden. If you're a Garden Club member, you get a 10% discount, and you can become a member at the sale. So you can get that discount if you come to the Garden Club plant sale. The plant sale is Friday from 1 to 7, and then Saturday from 10 to 2. So I hope to see you all there for that. I'd also like to thank everyone who came out for our first Friday, this past Friday. The theme was pets, and we had several people bring their dogs down to the downtown area. We had a lot of fun. We had some prizes. We had vendors relating to pets. Everyone enjoyed it very much. Our next theme will be a bike parade, and that will again be the first Friday in June, which is also the same weekend as the Strawberry Festival, so we're working with them on that. Well, we're working around that. If you have a musical act that you would like to have be public, we are very interested in talking to you. We actually just had a resident perform for us at this last first Friday. She did a lovely job on the ukulele and had a lot of fun. So if you have a musical act, or if you play an instrument, if you sing, if you DJ, if you do any of these things and you're looking just for a little bit of public practice, we would love to hear from you. Same goes for if you sell any kind of products. Vendors, we are accepting any and all vendors at our First Fridays for the next year. You let us know that you would like to sell some items downtown during our First Friday event, and we'll find you space. Also, if you've ever dreamed of being a mime, you're more than welcome to come and busk at our downtown event. We are also looking for buskers. If anybody's not familiar with the term, it's where you perform on the street, put a hat out, and then people tip you as they go by if they want to or not. It's another way to get some fun and get some practice for that kind of thing. And last but not least, we did complete our chess and checkers project on these stone tables on the Commons this past weekend. So if you go down to the Commons now, you'll find that there's checkerboards and chess pieces and checker pieces. So I've already seen some residents using those pieces and playing chess and checkers in the Commons. So please feel free to stop on down and enjoy a game with a friend. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mrs. Spinks.
It's good to be back. I missed the last one. My husband Bob recently had heart surgery on April the 8th. He's home. He's doing pretty good. A little anemic, a little tired and everything. And I just want to personally thank the mayor, who is him and his wife. I don't know what I would do without y'all. They pitched in and really helped me out, sat with me at the hospital. Dear friend Helen Briggs out there, she's a constituent of mine, but she's a friend first. I don't know what I would do without you. And Helen just does a lot of stuff for our city that people don't even know about. And for that, Helen, I did talk to Mike again about, we were talking about Dominican being on Grand Boulevard. They did kind of do a rather large rut in Helen's yard, so I know she called him and I followed up on it. That process is where the guys were out there this morning, right early in the morning, they're doing right now from Center Road to right up above my house, which is 265 Grand Boulevard. And one thing I did notice today that I really liked about it, the speeders have to really slow down. So I'm not gonna mind them being there. I know they're supposed to just be up from Center Road to Bexley, so that has been nice. People were actually having to stop at the stop sign in front of my house, and hopefully when it gets down further by Helen's house, they'll have to stop at that stop sign too. Also talking about that on Grand Boulevard, Mike, we are still having people feeding the deer. And I mean, I've verbally got out very nicely, asked them to not do that. On ground. Because I found a product at Home Depot that's for squirrels, because every year I have the problem. I love to watch the squirrels, but I have a problem with, they like to take plants out of my yard and put them in my neighbor's yard, but they don't bring me back plants. So they've removed a lot of my plant stuff. So I found a product that's pellets, it's not harmful, but it has kept them out of our yard, but now there's abundance of them. There was 27 of them out there yesterday in the back by Woodside Village. So they're gonna continue to come where they're being fed. So I'll give you those addresses and stuff. Talking about Meals on Wheels, Bedford, thank you very much for volunteering. We are up from 86 deliveries to 106. That's a lot in just a couple of months. So with that, meaning we have routes 1 through 9 right now. We're having to, with that abundance of people being on the list to be delivered to, I mean, you're talking about, we have on each route, there's 2 people, 1 driving, 1 delivering. So that, we need another whole route for that. In order to get another route, we need 5 more volunteers. Well, we've got 2, so we need 3 more volunteers to be able to do that. And we also, one of our regular routes, Route 6, the lady that, and someone else that normally does that, they're gonna be out, so we need to fill into that. So if, I know I tell you this all the time, but if you have just an hour out of your day, this is the most fulfilling volunteer thing that you could ever do. So please volunteer,
obviously Donna, you can see me, we'll, be glad to let, someone know there, they take your number and stuff and get you the right place to be able to volunteer. And, while I'm on that subject, Bill and Diane, thank y'all for what all y'all do for our city, not just for Meals on Wheels, Lions Club. I mean, this couple right here, they're everywhere. Y'all are the most devoted people I've ever seen. I mean, every function, that I happen to go to church with them too. They do everything. They do this Christmas wish thing. They go to, where is that, South Carolina or wherever? North Carolina every year, and they fill these boxes and send it to kids all over the place. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are my heroes. Thank y'all very much. Another kudos I want to give real quick. Central School is just doing, that's kind of one of my favorite schools because I mentor there. Central School is doing a really neat thing right now. They have the after hours where the principals, the school teachers, every day online, they're reading a book. So the kids, when they get home, they're reading bedtime stories that their parents can go on the computer, and the principal, a different teacher every day reads a book. They've been doing it for the last couple of months. They're going to continue to do it. They read a book every day online for students. Because a lot of, parents are busy. They don't have time to read a book for the kids. It's kind of sad, but it happens in this busy, world right now where you get home, you get work, you get food on the table, you put them to bed, you don't have time. So it's really neat. That's a great project that our school is doing right now. So I want to thank the principal and the school for doing that. I think that's great. And happy Mother's Day to everyone, for kids and for people that have fur babies. Y'all are parents too, so happy Mother's Day. In a report.
Thank you. Mrs. Mezak.
Thank you. Sandy, it took a lot of the thunder, but we're gonna go over a little bit more. First off, I'll say happy Mother's Day before I even get started. Everybody, anywhere that is a mother or a caring lady, or any person that can take care of a child, I would like to wish them a very good weekend coming up. Mainly, I was gonna talk about couple other items, but I'll catch up with that. The pancake breakfast, my daughter gets involved with very much. She has Rotary and everything. She stopped by after the pancake run. And in this run, a little boy named Charlie Lawrence, and his father's name is Christopher. They used to live, Chris lived on Marion Street. His son was born at 2 pounds. We saw this baby grow. He grew, and he came in first in his 2-mile run category at the pancake breakfast, and I am so proud of this little kid. He's not little anymore, I think he's 10 years old now, but he was this big, and he was a baby that everybody just had to pray to keep him to survive, and he did it, and he proved himself out very well Sunday. The Astelos family, I went to one of those, I was a lady, whatever you are, at the club. They do more things for people of need. I saw the man on TV who lost his wheelchair, and I want to say thank you for donating one of your shirts for him. Now we can carry on with the business, but I have one more thank you. And that's that gentleman in the back of the room. His name is Jim Wagner. He is a Bedford resident from way back, and I've known Jim from way back too. Thank you for doing what you're doing here tonight and other times that we need your services. Thank you, Jim. Is the chipper in service? Well, do the people have to call and give their address? No wonder I've got 3 branches on my, they didn't know that, I have to tell them. I'll call it. It's 18 branches. And then I was gonna say, now that spring's here, the grass has sprung, the weeds are up too. Whatever you have, make sure that you keep it all in your yard. Everybody wants to make sure that everything looks nice, and by not doing what should be done, cleaning up after yourself, I kind of frown upon it. I don't think it's right or fair for your neighbor to see the mess that you made. Just keep it in your yard and clean it up. And that even goes with making your yard look nice for everybody else too, including yourself. Is there asphalt patching going on too?
Yes.
Okay, they can call that in, or do we have to call it in?
If you know of an area, you can let me know.
That's good. And one more thing, for Mr. Bender. Mr. Bender.
Yes, ma'am.
Tune it in. This is your favorite month beside January. It's the dear baby month this month. The little ones are gonna be coming around to see it.
Okay.
Thank you. Now it's done, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and give a special shout out to my mom. She's 91, going strong, and she takes me to breakfast every Friday too. That's pretty good. So, special to her, and of course to my wife, and my daughter who's a mom. And all the ladies out there. Let's get on with business here. Ordinance number 9688-19.
Repealing ordinance number 9670-19, authorizing the Bedford Finance Director to continue a rebate program for Bedford residents registering to become members of the Bedford Heights Community Center in the city of Bedford Heights, and amending chapter 133 so as to enact section 133.23 entitled Recreation Rebate Program and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension. Spinks, second by Janutus. Call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
And motion for third and final by Saunders, second by Mezek.
Basically, with this ordinance, we're just codifying the ordinance versus just making it an ordinance. So it becomes, there will be, appear in all of our bylaws and our ordinances of the city. And when you look it up on codification, that's done every year, you'll be able to find this material more readily. That's why we're doing it tonight.
Yeah, what it is, it's a rebate program of $50 if you join the Bedford Heights Recreation Center. So any Bedford resident goes there and give them a $50 rebate. They have a great facility up there, and we have 80 or so people taking advantage of it, so please join in and contact the finance department and see about getting your $50 back. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
Resolution number 2533-19.
The resolution declaring the necessity to improve certain streets in the city of Bedford, Ohio by lighting the same and declaring an emergency.
And we wish to put that on first reading, as we do the next two ordinances, which also have to deal with street lighting. Can I have a motion for first reading by Spinks, second by Fluharty? Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
Ordinance number 9689-19.
An ordinance determined to proceed with the improvement of certain streets in the city of Bedford, Ohio by lighting the same and declaring an emergency.
Again, put that on first reading. Can I have a motion for such by Saunders, second by Mezek? Call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
And ordinance number 9690-19.
An ordinance levying special assessments for the improvement of the street and public places of the city of Bedford by lighting the same in accordance with the two prior, the one resolution 252418 and ordinance number 9609-18 and declaring an emergency.
Again, put that on first reading. Motion by Janutus, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
And resolution number 2534-19.
A resolution approving and accepting the proposed 2019 tax budget for the year January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020, and declaring an emergency.
Again, that needs to go on first reading. Motion by Mezak, second by Rhodes. And Frank, you want to explain what that's about real quick?
Yeah, the tax budget, what we do is that's our first step in preparing for the appropriations and budget for the 2020 collection year, which is the tax budget of 2019. And there's three reasons why we do that. One is to establish the millage necessary to operate the city in line with the valuation that's performed for the city. Two, to allow the county to establish a certificate of estimated resources, which is the maximum amount of money that the council can appropriate up to for spending levels. And three, to allow the city to receive local government funds, which are then allocated to the city yearly. So we wait to see what those figures will be for next year. But without the acceptance of a tax budget, those things would not be performed for our city. So I ask council to put this on first reading. Also in line with the street lighting assessment, I'm sure you want to know the millage. We were at 1.7 last year. We dropped that to 1.6 mil in line with the valuation increases. So we're looking to reduce the millage on the street lighting for next year.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mezak.
Yes.
Resolution number 2535-19.
Requesting the county auditor to advance taxes from the proceeds of tax levies for the year 2019 collected in 2020 pursuant to section 321.34 of the revised code of the state of Ohio and declaring an emergency.
For that, we also want to put it on first reading. Motion for such by Rhodes, second by Saunders. Frank, you want to quickly tell us what that's all about?
As the county collects the dollars from the real estate, there's an allowance in the code that allows the city to receive 75% of what they collect up to date, instead of waiting for the collection closing, which is usually the end of March. So it allows the city to get its funds sooner by just asking for the advances as they go ahead and collect.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mezak.
Yes.
Ordinance number 9691-19.
Providing for the adoption of new matter in the codified ordinances of Bedford to approve, adopt, and enact the April 2019 replacement pages of the codified ordinances of Bedford, Ohio, hereinafter the codified ordinance, to repeal certain ordinances in conflict therewith or deemed obsolete and declaring an emergency.
And we need motion for suspension by Rhodes, second by Saunders. Call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mezak.
Yes.
And motion for third and final by Spinks, second by Fluharty.
I'll take it, Mayor. This is basically a ordinance adopting recent changes, so our local ordinances conform with recent changes in the state ordinances, so that we can have, just so there, we don't do anything illegal, basically. So we need to conform with what the state code requires, and that's what this is about.
Thank you.
Yep.
Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mezak.
Yes.
Ordinance number 9692-19.
To levy assessments for the expense of garbage and refuse collections, recycling, and disposal within the city of Bedford, Ohio during the tax year 2019 and collected in 2020 and declaring an emergency.
And we wish to put that on first reading. Motion for such by Janutus, second by Spinks. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
No.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mezak.
Yes.
Ordinance number 9693-19.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to contract with Barbicus Construction, being the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for the 2019 street improvement program and declaring an emergency.
Have motion for suspension by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
And motion for third and final by Saunders, second by Mezak. Mike?
Thanks, Mayor. This contract with Barbercus is a result of our bidding process for our annual road program. They were the low bid, $377,127.25. There were 5 companies that bid the project, the highest coming in at just under $400,000. We are going to be doing streets, Carroll, Melba, Kenyon, Noran, Wheelock, completing powers as well as crack sealing the areas of Columbus and Rockside that were not completed last year. A lot of these streets were last done in 1991, 1992. There was a couple that were 1998. Both of our, Clint Beller, Sean Francis, and our city engineer, they went out last fall, assessed the street citywide, assessed the worst of the worst. They actually went out again in the spring because the weather was conducive for them to do so, and we verified that these are the ones that we really needed to address. So we will be doing those roadways that I mentioned. The crack sealing of Columbus and Rockside, we have to pay for the material, but we received a grant from Cuyahoga County that will reimburse us $33,000. So we will get money back. Once we're completed and have this ironed out, we will then be going out for a separate bid for sidewalks in the sidewalk program. And we'll have more information for that to come in the upcoming meetings.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
Ordinance number 9694-19.
Providing for payment to the GPD Group for engineering services and construction, administrative, and inspections within the city of Bedford for the 2019 street program that we just approved and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Mezak, second by Saunders. Call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
And motion for third and final by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. As it indicates in the ordinance, this is for engineering services for that street program. Roughly, or all of the engineering design fees, bid documents, and other items not to exceed $7,400, and then all of our construction, administration, and inspection fees not to exceed the $18,000. So this is for that program. Obviously added in, we will come in quite a bit under the 400 threshold, and that'll dictate what we will be investing in the sidewalk replacement program.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
Ordinance number 9695-19.
Authorizing the city manager to purchase a power load cot from Stryker EMS and declaring an emergency.
And motion for suspension by Janutus, second by Fluharty. Call the roll.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks, yes, Cochee,
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Mezak, second by Rhodes. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. As the ordinance reads, this is for a power cut and power load system. Stryker is actually the sole proprietor, which is the only quote that we received for this, in 47,975.20. Basically, it will be placed in the patient compartment of our frontline rescue squad, and essentially, it will eliminate any lifting of the patients whatsoever. The big component is out of that total amount, our fire department was able to obtain a grant from the Bureau of Workers' Compensation for just over $35,000. So the cost to us will be just around $11,000 in matching dollars. So it's a tremendous piece of equipment for us to get into our vehicle in the squad, and then definitely a well done on the acquisition of the grant.
Yeah, and just having this eliminates a lot of workers' comp issues with lifting that cot in and out, which I wish I would have had a few years back.
I do want to add too, and Frank, you mentioned it, the Bureau allows us to apply for grant dollars. I believe it's not to exceed $40,000 every 3 years. And as long as I can remember, at least the last 6 years, 7 years, every time we were eligible to get that 40,000, either the fire department or service department recently, we acquired the max to utilize for pieces of equipment, safety equipment, things like that for our staff. So kudos to all of them for taking the initiative and going after those fundings. And, you know, Frank attends our safety council meetings and is very involved in that, and it pays off tremendously, and this is an example of why.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Janutus.
Yes.
Fluharty.
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Spinks. Yes. Cochee.
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
And we need a motion.
Yes, can we get a motion to accept the planning commission's recommendation of April 16th, 2019 regarding Damon Maddox, construction manager for Wide Open West Cleveland LLC, otherwise known as WOW, to, their address is 105 Blaze Industrial Parkway, Berea, proposing to set a telecommunications utility cabinet at 15 Henry Street. Voting yes would be to approve their application. First, we need a motion and a second.
Motion by Fluharty, second by Janutus. This should give us another option on cable service, right?
I'm not sure I was in at the meeting, but.
Call the roll,
I
please.
can speak to the
Oh, excuse me.
I believe so.
We already called for the question, but
Sorry.
when we have comments, if you want to come up and say something for that, right after this. Call the roll.
Janutus.
Yes.
Fluharty.
Yes.
Saunders.
Same.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Cochee.
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
And we need a motion to reappoint Helen Briggs to the planning commission. 4 more years. A motion by Mezak, second by Rhodes. Have a motion for such? Or we just have that?
Janutus.
Yes.
Fluharty.
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Cochee.
Yes.
Mizek.
Yes.
And again, thanks to Helen for volunteering to do another 4, and you do a great job. And building commissioner said, give you kudos for the work you do there. And I always like to say, our people on our boards and commissions help us, or else we'd be sitting here every night doing one of these when we can have people that step up and do the work on our boards. And we appreciate that, and we're always looking for people that would like to volunteer for boards. So if anybody is so inclined, please contact our clerk, Lori Billers, and give her your information. We can always use good people to do that. And again, thank you. And now we come to that part of the meeting for the hearing of citizens. If you wish to speak, please come forward, state your name, your address, and your comment. Yes.
Are you allowed to do that with your equipment?
Oh, yeah. No, I took my picture with my boot. Nancy Wachowski, one guy just let him on, but I have a couple questions I want to ask you. What was the increase in the assessment for the garbage to? What were they planning on? What would the assessments be?
Oh, we're not increasing it.
We're thinking it should be $14 a month.
Yeah. It's the same as it has been.
Nothing changed.
Same, nothing changed.
We just have to reaffirm it every year.
I didn't hear the whole thing, I'm sorry. That was typo, but
And also about the sidewalks, I'm not reviewing that might be fixed. We've had one that, one man did fall in front of ours, and it's 3 sidewalks from the tree, and it is really bad. I'm afraid, you know, something will happen again there. But also, when you mentioned about this telecommunications utility, my daughter lives at 21 Henry. And she had called me today and said that she heard from a neighbor about a telecommunications, something going on next door, and they locked. She has not heard from a councilman, she never had anything from a planning commission. This was the first that she heard about it, so she couldn't be here tonight, she was cutting her grass. So, I'm thankful for that. And, but like she said, she'd like to know what is going on there, you know, because she did see they put stakes in that empty lot. I didn't know if that a lot was zoned residential at one time, or if it was always business. And she's very upset, especially that she hasn't met her councilman and didn't know anything about this here. But she's just wondering what this is that they are planning to put up there on that empty lot.
Well, if we could have the gentleman from WOW, maybe they could explain that.
Yeah. I will
Did you have
listen to
another
that.
comment before I call him home?
Yeah, well, the reason, like I said, is because she was just wondering what is going on there. And she would have liked to have had some say-so, you know, in that there, at least, or how close it is to her property, or what it is, or what kind of a building, or what, you know, that she was interested.
Yeah, it's just gonna be the boxes like you see the phone company has every now, places around town, it's gonna be similar to that.
Well, that's why I was, figured I'd ask first,
Mhm.
if it was just some kind of a box or something, or if it was a she thought perhaps it was a building or tower or something going up there, you know.
Well, we didn't know anything till tonight ourselves, so.
Well,
Can't
because it
report
said the
something.
planning commission has okayed it, you know. We just
got the information that it's gonna be fenced in and everything else, and they're gonna cut the grass.
Oh,
So-
should be glad that
Right.
just as somebody cuts that grass.
So all that
because-
information came out tonight.
Because that, you know that lot looks like, because when it rains, it's a swamp there, you know, so it's bad, so. Well, that, you know, that's what I was just, you know, asking on her behalf, so I appreciate your help. Thank you.
If you want, you would like to.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Rinaldi. I work with WOW. This is Mark Fry, who works with WOW as well. I'm based out of, I live in downtown Cleveland. Mark,
Columbus, Ohio.
I believe that, does your daughter live right next door to the property? We spoke with her this evening, actually.
We did 2 hours ago.
Pardon?
We spoke with her about 2 hours ago.
So you were the guys that were walking around in my extended backyard back.
Oh, okay. Well,
Down
that's
the
why,
alley?
'cause she
Yeah.
called-
Yeah, in the creek
she
all
called,
around,
she
yeah.
called me before.
Okay, if we could-
And I
if we
didn't
have
know,
you guys
I didn't know I was
talk
coming
about
up here.
Yeah, so we actually spoke with a neighbor today and kind of told her what was going on. Mark also spoke with our lawn trimming company and started that schedule to get the lawn trimmed. It is gonna be just a cabinet and a concrete pad. There's gonna be some vaults in the pad, but the only thing really that you're gonna see from, well, the fence, I believe, around.
Yeah, that's right.
But the only thing far above grade is gonna be a cabinet that I'm sure you're all familiar with. It's about, 9 feet by 4.
9 feet wide, or 9 feet long, about 3 feet wide, 4.5 feet tall.
I believe your service directors obviously gone over the plans and taken a look and everything's been sorted out, but it's pretty non-invasive as to what's going on. But it's not gonna be a big building, it's not giant lights or a tower or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward, but more than that, happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
That will bring cable service to town, is that?
Not immediately. It is gonna be, it's certainly gonna make Bedford a more attractive option to furnish WOW service. It is a major through part for the fiber optics, a distribution point. It puts It splits up the fiber, that's gonna allow for services to be provided to surrounding communities. So when thinking about where to build, it's kind of, you know, you've already got the distribution point here.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you very much.
If you get in touch with another department tomorrow or something, get them.
All right, fantastic.
And if there's a need, all three of us have. Our neighbor, they just keep us on Saturday morning at 4 a.m.
Excuse me, could you give your name and address,
Oh, I'm
please?
sorry, and McPherson 22 Crestwell. Saturday morning at 4 a.m. There were 3 cars pulling in the driveway, and one was on the street. One on, the last one that was in the driveway, the lady and the man got out fighting. And another older guy got out, he was as a Georgia Pine. He put on his pants and was running around in the yard in his boxer shorts. The lady who lived in the house was trying to break him up. So she got him in the house, so the car that was in the driveway ran across the line and hit the street, and they was racing down to Crestwell toward Green Cross. And they have so much garbage. Last Wednesday, when the garbage man came, we all had our garbage out. Theirs was still in the backyard, the garbage man picked up our garbage, and then they bring theirs out. And lots of times, I can barely get out of my driveway because they park so close. Those streets are too small. They're too narrow for people to be parking on the street, so I wish there was no parking at all. Not only do I have the problem, but they do too. But I'm more so than me, because they're right across the street from me.
My name is Leonette Johnson, and this is my husband Gary Johnson, and we're residents of 28 Crestwell. And the neighbors that she was referring to at 21 Crestwell, it's still the same complaints that we've had before. It's the constant different cars in and out. There's a lot of juveniles that are in these cars, and we're not talking 1 person or 2 persons in the car. We're talking 4 to 6. I don't know where they're staying in the house because they'll be parked on the street, like Annie said, from beyond the time frame, and we call the police when it's between that time that you're not supposed to be parking. And then all of a sudden they can run out to move their cars when they, realize that it's supposed to be close to that time. But I don't know where these people can be because the house is only a small, single-family house. And it's just constant. It's different vehicles, different types of vehicles. They make large amounts of noise with their vehicles and loud music, like Ann said, and it's all hours of the day and night. And when they park right so that their back ends of their cars will be right across from her driveway or right across from our driveway, and you can't maneuver really one way or the other to get out of your driveway. And it's harder on our side because we live right by a drainage ditch. So there's not too much room on our side of the street that you can move to get your car out sometimes. So the one Saturday, I called the police. I could not literally get out of the driveway because they had 3 cars parked and the one was smack dab across from our driveway. The Bedford policeman who came was very good, and I did let the chief know that this police officer was very helpful. He tried to find who this vehicle belonged to, and actually the people in the house lied and said, oh gee, no, we don't know anything about this car. So he ran the tag and found, as odd as it may sound, that somebody who owned the vehicle lived in Maple Heights. So Bedford police drove to Maple Heights to this address, and like a half hour later, this car comes flying down the street, and this guy hops out of the vehicle and says, oh, I'm so sorry for parking on your street. So why his car from Maple Heights was parked all evening and Saturday morning across from 28 Crestwell, I'm still trying to figure that one out. But even the policeman chuckled at that one. But he suggested that maybe if we could get like a no parking sign just between like that section on our street because of the maneuverability issue. And I don't know how we go about doing that, like if that's something the service department or the engineer has to do.
Well, we'll let the city manager look into that,
Okay.
what it takes, the legalities of it, and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Check it out.
I don't want to be the one to
I want to pass out some praise to the city manager and for Sandy. They finally came and fixed that really bad part of the street right in front of my driveway, and I appreciate that.
And they
Now,
did
there's not
mine.
like a big just
And
chuckle.
they did mine about 2 weeks ago.
So,
And I have a suggestion about what you can do to notify people about boiling water. It'd be much cheaper if you got everybody, all the citizens in Bedford cell phone number in Texas. It'll save you some money.
Well, we have,
Price of gas is going up.
we have the Code Red system, which we can do that and
Yeah.
notify everybody, but the residents have to give us our phone numbers, and most of them won't do it.
You can have mine.
Well, you should, there's a form right here to sign up for it. Yes.
No, the cell phone.
Oh.
Yes, you can have mine. Because now the county doesn't, that's a severe thunderstorm warning. I'll sign up for that.
Yeah.
You never know, we have to run to the basement. Let's go sign up.
Yeah, the sheet's right there. Thank you.
Where?
Andy, right here.
Should be right on there. Should say Code Red on there.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, members of the city. I wanted, Frank
Name-
Spiker,
name
20
that.
William Street. I wanted to give a special thank you to Brett Holycross and his staff at Service Cafe for a wonderful event that was put on at his establishment last Saturday. It was part of a Kentucky Derby party, which actually had 3 different stages to it. There was a morning session where there was a breakfast buffet, and we raised money for a local hunger center, and food donations were also given out at that session as well. We had the afternoon session, which involved people mingling and things like that and having a good time. And then, of course, the later on session where everybody got together and watched the Kentucky Derby and discussed what happened after the result of the Derby was posted official. But I just want to give a special thanks to Brett Holycross and his staff for a wonderful event. It was attended by several hundred people throughout the day, and I can't thank him enough for what he did. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Our favorite librarian.
Vicki Adams, Southeast Ranch, 70 Columbus Road. I don't have any complaints. I'd like to thank you for the wonderful job that all of you are doing, your support and your police department and fire department. I just have a few things to share with you. And I noticed tonight a lot of people were speaking about Meals on Wheels, and the gentleman just mentioned some other options. And I just wanted to let you know, when you have your ward meetings or your street meetings, if you let your residents know that yes, we are serving lunch again this summer for the children, anyone under the age of 18 can come to the library, free lunch courtesy of Cleveland Food Bank. We're serving in the summer, June 3rd starting, and we'll go through August 9th, and it's 12 o'clock to 12:30. Just show up. Some days we'll even have a program for you. I'd also like to let you know that our summer reading program is starting June 1st. Registration actually started until May 1st, but you can't get your registration prize until June 1st. Okay, so you can pre-register, but no prize until June 1st. So make sure you sign everybody up, adults and children, everyone can play. We have wonderful prizes at the end of the year. And I know your recreation department is doing a great job because you stole Sarah from us, and I know her work. So I see you have some great camps coming up, and I want to let you know for your residents who miss out on your camps at the recreation department, we also have our camps. You know, we do our camps every year. Registration starts May 8th. Stop by the library and pick up your form because these camps fill up very fast, and it's not fair that our Bedford children can't get in. So make sure, May 8th, call us on the phone, stop in, do it on your home computer, but it fills up very fast, so register early, and the camps are free. We have robotics, we have art, we have exercise, all kinds of camps, and they're all free for Bedford residents. And for the adults, we have a whole slew programs coming up in the summer, some of which you are also doing, but we're doing some too, and we have partnership going on. So if you can, this is on our webpage, and I know that we have a link on your webpage. So if you let your residents know that we have a lot of programs coming up for the adults for the summer. We just started our Tai Chi this morning, I missed it. But it was 29 people, but we still have room for more. It's a 3-part series, and they can still come in if they'd like to. That's it for me for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Smith, 130 Grand Boulevard. Like you said about the patching program you're gonna have, you need to take a look at Southwick. Even though, wasn't that road completely rebuilt 10 years ago? Without with utilities and everything, I mean, there are so many patches on that road. But there's a lot of big, deep chuck holes on that road right now. Okay. Okay. That's what I want.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Can I just say one thing? I don't need to come up there.
You speak
All right,
loud.
I just forgot something. Last week I happened to be in the grocery store and I bumped into Brian Harding from our fire department. And I wanted to thank him for all that he did for the hurricane victims down in Florida. And I told him, usually when I go down to Florida, I'm right in that area. And I was thankful that my friends were fine. They were only like 2 miles in Port St. Joe from Mexico Beach. And that was devastating. And then also, I did see him on television today. I don't know if any of you saw him on television today. Was he out in Garrettsville? And that was another thing. I mean, I don't know if you all knew it, a skydiver had jumped out of the plane, he landed up in these trees, and they were really, really high. But he was on television today explaining about it. And I think we're lucky we have firemen in our city of Bedford that are like that. And I think if anybody runs into him, thank him for it, you know. So, thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thanks, Jeff, for being a fireman. And Stan, I don't forget.
Anyone else? Seeing none, motion for adjournment by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Hughes,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Spinks, yes, Cochise,
Yes.
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 Oh, you see the
Thank you all for
best job they
coming.
did?